But with youngsters, you got to be careful. I mean, their sensitivity. You know, when I wrote Hockey Tough, um, there's an epilogue at the back of the book, which initially the publishers were maybe discouraging me for putting in the book. They said, you know, let's just focus on what it takes to, you know, improve play, the right focus, the right feeling, the right attitude. And but I said, no, I want this epilogue in there. And the epilogue really is about the difference between coaching kids and coaching elite athletes. When you're coaching youngsters, and you know, 13, 14 are youngsters, yeah, you want to get them to be better players for sure, but you want to keep nurturing their love of the game. And you get some coaches who are coaching even younger kids who, you know, think they're coaching in the NHL. And I think that's a real mistake. Love is power. I always talk to my clients about the difference between love and fear. To me, these are the core human emotions. Love, we expand. I love to play the game. I love the challenge. Fear, we contract. Don't make a mistake. And so somebody who's working with players has to be able to grow that big experience, grow their passion for the game. Now, you know, you mentioned this thing worked, but, you know, I'm glad it did. But, you know, somebody who gets thrown out of games uh, repeatedly and is working with 13, 14-year, 15-year-old kids, it's not a good model.
Well, it hasn't happened since
Mm.
we had the conversation and listening to the recording. Um, the one time I saw it happen, it was for the players to know that he cared.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
And to do that with 13-year-olds, as a mentor, I wasn't upset. I knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And our relationship was quite quite solid.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a word here that, and this could be at the pro level, but I think it doesn't matter if you're teaching or in business, working with people, or coaching a pro team. Um, there's two words that I picked up from a parent coach many years ago. He demands effort and respect. Those are the two values in his coaching, and he delivers on it, being who he is, his personality. He's authentic, consistent, walks the talk. And the word authenticity of being who you are and being able to control, consistently observe and address, not address, make the right communication in the right situation. It's really an art. And this fellow with very little parent, with very little uh, coaching experience, but just a great human being who cared about the kids and what they were doing and getting out of the sport. He achieved great things at that age level and really influenced me moving forward
Mm-hmm.
as a coach. So, my question, I guess, is can coaches change?
Yeah,
Adults,
sure. Sure.
okay?
I think they can. I mean, I think one of the simple things that I've sometimes said to coaches is instead of saying to somebody, you know, somebody, you have to, as a coach, you have to hold people accountable. I mean, you know, you can be encouraging, but you have to hold people accountable. I mean, you have to let people know the kind of behavior, the kind of play that's what you want, and the kind of play that's not what you want, that's not acceptable. And I like to use the term, that's who you are, or that's who we are. So if we were showing video and we see some good things, we say, guys, that's who we are. You see that? How he was aggressive on the forecheck? That's who we are. That's who we are. That's who we are. If we see that people are not doing what we want, Instead of saying, what the heck are you doing? It's saying, hey, like, let's say an example where we have two guys aggressive on the forecheck and the third guy we want high, and we see all three go into the same corner. We say, hey guys, that's not who we are. We want this one guy high. So when we say that's not who we are, we're telling, or that's not who you are to an individual. You tell an individual that's not who you are. You're telling them that that behavior wasn't what was expected or wasn't what's appropriate, and you're better than that, instead of making them feel like they're not better. I gave a talk years ago. I was talking to the St. Louis Blues, and afterwards, one of the players came up to me and he said to me, I'm not sure how I should prepare for a game because, you know, you're saying you should get an idea what you want to do. And I have two roles. Like on one line, I'm a checker, and on the other line, I'm kind of a playmaker. Should I be doing, how should I prepare for the game? I said, look, I'm not the coach, but you're a smart guy, and it's really important that you know what's expected. So I want you to talk to the coach and get clear from him how he thinks you should prepare for the game. I mean, you know, so anyway, he said, okay, he's going to talk to the coach, and he left. And Roger Nielsen, who was a wonderful guy and a good friend, Roger came up to me and he was laughing. And I said, what's so funny? And he said, Saul, it's the first time anybody ever told that guy that he's smart. And because I said to him, you're a smart guy. So he said, so I said, Roger, if we want players to play smart, we should be telling them that they are smart. If we keep telling people that they're dumb, that they're stupid, that they're, you know, always doing the wrong thing, they'll show us that they're stupid and that they do the wrong thing. So it's like putting that image out. If they're not doing it the way you want, hey, that's not who you are. You make that play. You know, you have better gaps, or you know, you have better angles, whatever it is. You tell them the way you want it to be, and that they're capable of being that, rather than that they're a disappointment and that they're, you know, just inadequate.
So, I worked with at a sport association in a small community outside of Calgary, and we did work on communication with coaches
Mm-hmm.
and behavioral coaching, I called it. And the idea of feedback, I've actually videoed from the bench the game while it's being played, so you could hear the voices of the coaches on the bench. And I've shared it with them after, asking them to look at the game, but also hear
Listen.
themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that the biggest thing is we point out mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you point them out in a tone of voice and you're derogatory and upset, like you said, it's going to hurt the athlete, not help the athlete. So in our feedback, this is with a group of young, a group of mentors. Morris Lukovich was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
We had a group of about 10 guys with that kind of sporting experience that did go on benches, did work with coaches, and the idea of how you respond to a mistake, it's more of asking them questions rather than telling them what they did wrong in a way that's derogatory.
Yeah, that's why I think you're absolutely right. And I think you've got to give them feedback. And I think saying to somebody, that's not who you are, tells them that what they did wasn't appropriate and that they're better than that. And then you tell them, when they do this, this is what we do, you know. Um, Peter, any comments about any of this stuff?
Peter, your speaker.
Yep. No. Yeah, I got it now, I think, Wally. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think in general, especially dealing with, because I coach at prep school level, university level, And the one common thread, and now I'm working actually with youth level in my community with the coaches and that. And the one constant is like, the players want to please. Like they want to do well. They do want to please. So like what you're saying with your approach, I mean, I agree 100%. I think it goes through with the guys I know all the way up to the NHL level that there's a certain point where you become a personnel manager as much as you are as a coach. And I think it speaks to what you said about you have to know if I respond, if I'm that type A, real type A personality, I may respond to that aggressive behavior. If I'm a bit more timid, I've got to be encouraging, right? I know, listen, I know that's not a play that you normally make. I know that you're better than that. That goes a lot longer. That goes with that kid, that goes a lot further, right? But I don't think it matters if you're dealing with youth level, prep school level, like I say, university or pro level. You've got to get to know who your kids are. Like back in the day, right, of the breaking the clipboard in half and throwing it in the trash and yelling and screaming, and like that's so far gone. That's one of the things, honestly, I appreciate. I have enjoyed about coaching. I retired 2 years ago, but I enjoyed about it was you could get better. Like you could get better every day too as a coach. And to me, that's kind of exciting to wake up every day and know that you could get better at something as opposed to, well, I just know everything.
Yeah, of course. I mean, all of us, it's all a great journey and journey of discovery and enjoy, and we should be enjoying the process.
Yeah, it's way too much work for, and I've always told players that it's way too much work for it not to be fun.
Yeah.
Like you got to find, it's not going to be fun all the time. I get it. I mean, that's the real world. That's life. Your relationships aren't always going to be fun. Your job potentially isn't always going to be fun. But at the end of the day, you have to find more enjoyment in what you do than not. If not, if you can't find enjoyment, maybe it's not for you, which is okay too.
Yeah. Well, I go back to love and fear, and love. I tell the players I work with, if you're playing hockey, you've chosen something that's very challenging. Physically, you have to be in good shape. You have to be strong. You have to be fast. Mentally, you have to make quick decisions. You have to be brave. It's very challenging. Either you love the challenge, you step into it, I love this, or you fear the challenge. Don't make a mistake. And you don't need people coaching you who are, waiting to be hypercritical, or especially with developing players, or they end up, as I say, not loving the challenge, and then they don't perform as well. And then they don't even stay in the game as long.
No, I think you got to give them, like you said, you have to give them solutions, not like, I don't care how old the kid is. They know what they did wrong. They know they know they made a mistake. So how do we fix it in
Yeah.
your approach, right, to that individual? Like you said, depends on their personality. But that's really what it is. And that's kind of made coaching a little bit more fun. Makes you a little bit more of a human than maybe how coaching was done 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the good thing about the evolution, I mean, there's some things